I was asleep on my best friend Mark's couch when my phone started vibrating like it was trying to escape the room. It was almost 2 a.m. I remember thinking, nothing good ever comes from calls at this hour. When I answered, my mother's voice sounded fractured, like someone had taken a hammer to it. "Ethan, your brother is in the hospital." I sat up instantly. What happened? There was a pause, a long one, the kind that stretches your nerves thin. "He was in an accident. It's bad." I pressed my feet into the carpet, heart racing. "Is he alive?" "Yes," she said quickly. "But where is he?" She gave me the hospital name, then added something that made my stomach drop. "He took your car." The room went quiet, except for my own breathing. My restored 1970 Chevy Impala, the car I rebuilt bolt by bolt, the car I poured years of savings into, the car I never let anyone drive. "He stole it?" I asked. Another pause. "Yes." I hung up without saying goodbye. The drive to the hospital felt endless. Every red light felt personal. My hands were shaking on the steering wheel, not just from fear, but from rage. I wasn't just angry at my brother, Lucas. I was angry at my parents. They had always protected him, excused him, softened every consequence until he grew up believing rules were optional and responsibility was negotiable. By the time I reached the hospital, my emotions were colliding. Anger, dread, guilt, fear, like cars in a pileup. Inside the waiting room, my entire family was there. My mother looked like she'd aged 10 years overnight. I hugged her, and she broke down in my arms. "What exactly happened?" I asked. She wiped her face. "He was drunk, speeding, lost control, and hit a tree." My chest tightened. "How bad is it?" She covered her mouth before answering. "They're operating on his spine. The doctor said, if he survives, he may never walk again. He might be paralyzed from the shoulders down." The words didn't register at first. They floated, unreal. Paralyzed. I sank into a chair, my mind spiraling. I was furious at him for stealing my car, furious at my parents for enabling him, devastated that my brother might never move again, and buried under the crushing realization that my car was gone. Gone. I whispered, almost to myself, if he had just listened to me. My mom snapped her head toward me. "The car doesn't matter, Ethan. None of that matters. Pray your brother survives." She was right. And yet, she wasn't. That car represented years of sacrifice, every overtime shift, every vacation I skipped, every dollar I saved instead of spending. And still, once again, my feelings didn't matter. Sitting there, waiting for news, my mind drifted to a memory I hadn't thought about in years. When I was 7, I had a teddy bear named Scout. It was one of the only toys I owned. I slept with it every night. One afternoon, I came home from school and found its stuffing scattered across the house. Arms missing, face torn open. My brother's dog had shredded it. I cried harder than I ever had as a kid. And somehow, I was blamed. My parents told me I shouldn't have left it where the dog could reach it. Then they made me clean up the mess. That was the pattern. Lucas broke things. I absorbed the consequences. Hours later, a surgeon came out. Lucas survived, but the damage was severe. When I saw him in the hospital bed, tubes everywhere, unmoving, it felt surreal, like looking at a stranger wearing my brother's face. My parents stayed. I couldn't. Over the next few days, reality hit harder than any emotion ever could. The insurance company called. Lucas wasn't insured. They weren't covering anything. Not the car, not the damages, not the lawsuits. I owed hundreds of thousands of dollars. I worked as an electrical engineer. I made decent money, but not that kind of money. The debt felt suffocating. At work, my mind unraveled. I stared at screens without blinking, missed deadlines, submitted sloppy work. One afternoon, I overheard my coworker Rachel whispering to my boss about how she had to redo my drawings. "It's not fair," she said. "I'm doing his job for him." My chest tightened. I knew she was right. Weeks later, Lucas called me from rehab. "I need money," he said casually. "Medical bills." I laughed, not because it was funny, but because it was absurd. "I had to sell my house," I told him, "because of you." There was silence. Then, "Wow, you're really going to abandon me like this?" He hung up. Then his friends started calling, texting, harassing me, posting online. They mocked my looks, said I was nothing without my car. And the worst part? That car wasn't just metal. It was a promise. When I was a kid, my grandfather and I used to flip through car magazines together. One day he pointed to a cherry red Impala and said, "That's the one I'd drive if I had time left." He died of cancer before ever touching it. That car was my way of honoring him, and Lucas destroyed it in one night. I finally confronted my parents at the hospital. I overheard them talking about raising Lucas's allowance. Allowance? They confessed they'd been getting him $500 a week since he was 13. I'd never received anything like that, not once. It all made sense. They built him this way. I left without saying goodbye. Thanksgiving was the breaking point. My mother praised how well Lucas was walking. I said he wouldn't be walking at all if he hadn't stolen my car. Lucas slammed his hand on the table. "I'm not a thief." My mom defended him, like always. Something snapped. "You enabled this," I said. "You always have." I left. That was the last time I saw them. I sold my house, moved cities,
Changed jobs, started therapy, joined a classic car club, bought another project car. Life finally felt lighter. Then the police called. Lucas had used my old credit card to fund an illegal car flipping ring. I shut it down immediately. That was the last tie. The relief was real. So was the sadness. But for the first time, I was free.